but the orb returned to the earth, waiting for the potter.
Leg. Ignore them. Leg. I have a name. One incident for which they seek to define me. One accident in which they'll always confine me. They'll never let me forget. Every tease, every taunt takes me back. An eager child I was, always seeking to help, looking for a chance with my elders to stake my claim, make a name, show them that I was almost a man. Then they'd slap my back instead of pushing me down. Come join the hunt, they'd say, and out I'd stride, the bronze tip of my spear gleaming in the tears of the women who'd watched me pass by. And so, on that day when the corn cart creaked in, I hauled up a sack right up to my chin, almost smothering my breath. Being small, they never noticed me there. As I thrust it high, the shout that launched the beast roared out, and the wheelwood caught me with a splintering sound, a crushing of muscle and bone, a snap and a crack, as part of me became twisted, unmade, and I was driven down into dust. I recall a moment of nothing, until pain passed up to brain, flooding my senses, and terror followed in howls. There were shouts, there were screams. I forced open my eyes, gazed up into a sky of faces all fixed upon me. I focused on counting every emotion. There was pity, laughter, and fear. Some just smiled and some were sick. I squirmed to move out upon my back, but strong hands lifted me limply up, and the world went black. When I awoke, my leg was white, bound tight in cloth, but it had no sense, it had no feel. I called out to it, reached down the leg line, but no answer came back. I screamed, I think, maybe aloud, maybe inside, but I remember no one arrived. Leg! Like a stale bone striking my head. Their shouts stunned me back into the now. I turn, they grin, swaggering off to the hunt, shouting to the girls as they leave. I let them go, then drag myself off with my stick, that substitute limb. My mute leg follows after, ploughing a line through the dirt. At least I found my place, safe without, where my strange fire can't spread. There for my living I'm left to trade, my clay vessels fit for the grave, to hold the green wine and the grain. For me they scour the beds of the rivers, dump me their dirt, but my fingers meld with the mud, sift out the pure clay, and I sense its pot form inside, eyeing me up with its unblinking void. I clump up the clay, roll it and ball it till my hands sense its yield, its compliance, its ease. I crush up flint and the framed bodies of birds, blend it all in, fold it into the mix till under stone and under bone turn into texture, keeping it firm. I slap and pat and palm it out, plying the sides, drawing them up, growing its womb, fecund for death. Fingers float in the to and the fro, snaking out the clay till it coils itself round, slithering into place on the watery rim, then thumb smoothed into the flow. With bone I scratch into its skin, flicking a tally of nicks. Then pot turns and against the grain I slice it again. Clay is my blank sky and I the creator of light, piercing out the stars, setting their infinite form into place. All is finished. Time to set my secret mark. I drag down my nail to outline a leg. I examine my pile, choosing which pots are ripe for the fire, then bury them up and scorch them with flame, turning away, not looking back, never invoking the curse, not inviting the crack. When fire's flown, each pot is raised, ash-born again. Like dead heads they're stacked, waiting for another life's end. Maybe that's why I'm outcast. I rise when there's grief. Tears send people to me. I hear the gasps, the groans, Feel the night sweat soaring with heat till morning wails into life and I play my part. There's always something that connects a pot to their loss. I help shape the family's choice. It could be an imprint, a texture, a form. Then we brim fill them and lay them to earth. And when the body's upraised, my pot takes its place at the banquet beyond this life's border, where feasting forever goes on, and the great halls are fluted with song. There my pot's never empty, always they're filled overflowing. The grain and the wine rain out full and sweet, and there's never a crack or a split. I start up again, working the clay, but something is solid and won't yield to my touch. I scrape with finger till the outer is off, and out gleams a sphere. There it pulses, its glow sustained, an embryonic fallen sun. Compelled, a child coaxed to the flame, I reach out, naked hands set fast, braced for the onset scorch of pain. Yet cool this orb is to the touch, and smooth it slips into my skin. Then, as it winks into a spin, clarity floods me from within, like the numb of winter water. It fills my mind with fleeting forms of generations long past, memories of tools and crafts, and those whose work was functional and fair, all told to me in an instant, but unlike a dream, I know that they'll be safely held for all the time that's left to be. Then a glimpse of a time that I don't understand, a stark-walled room where someone clothed in white gown closes up the barrier of what's in and what's out, breathing a sigh as they now stand alone. I clasp close the orb, sense its thrum and its throb. A smile forms on my lips. I may not be whole, I may be called leg, but I am potter, composer of clay. I will never be defined by a slur or a tag.